Awesome, thank you. Item number 3, previous minute approval. The minutes were sent out last week. Are there any changes to the minutes? Seeing none, the meetings have been approved as distributed. Item number 4, reports. I will go ahead and do my report. I'm not sure what happened to Luke. I don't see him on our meeting, so we will just skip over that for now. I will do a quick CMT update. Sorry, I got too many things pulled up. So CMT, I just wanted to let you guys know that CMT has started preliminary discussion on creating a process for students to attend athletic events, but this is in like very early stages. But they want students to still have an experience and opportunities to attend in-person events in a safe way. This will be based on a lottery system with the help of Rich and his experience with event planning. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Next will be the swearing in of the senior class president. So Elliot, are you here? Okay. You can unmute yourself or keep yourself muted. It's up to you. Okay. Okay, so raise your right hand if you're able and repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm.
I do solemnly affirm.
That I will faithfully execute.
I will faithfully execute.
The office of Senior Class President of Simpson College SGA.
The office of Senior Class President of Simpson College SGA.
And will to my best of ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve and uphold.
Preserve and uphold.
The constitutions and bylaws of the SGA.
The constitutions and bylaws of the Simpson College SGA.
And represent the students of Simpson College.
And represent the students of my constituency.
Awesome. Congratulations, Elliot. Oh, there's Luke. Luke, you can go ahead if you want. We have sworn in the senior class president, and you can go ahead and speak, and then we will move on with the rest of our meeting. So can I get a motion to suspend the rules?
So motioned.
Awesome. The motion, or can I get a second? Thank you. Okay, the rules have been suspended. So Luke, go ahead.
Hi, welcome to the party, and congratulations to all of you for choosing to let Elliot back in here. I don't know what mistakes you're making, but here we are. So, and test results from Monday and Tuesday are rolling in right now. So my phone is not very happy with me. So if you hear like dinging in the background, just go with me. So I brought this, let me back up. So for a number of years, we've struggled with recycling specifically on campus, like getting students' attention about it, having students care about it at all. We put flyers on the back of every room door. At one point, we had them on the side of every recycling bin. Well, first of all, we purchased recycling bins for every room, which we don't even purchase trash cans. So long story short, we've tried some things, but really haven't shifted the student culture as much as I think personally that we need to. And this feeling is generally echoed by student leaders on campus. I know a number of you on the screen right now have talked to me about recycling efforts. I met with the Sustainability Club president or leader or czar or whatever his title officially is. And we were talking about different options and strategies, and honestly, they aligned much with especially the first year delegation when we met last semester. One of those strategies was to, instead of only having trash in the building and recycling outside, move everything outside. So students have recycling and trash on equal footing. And this strategy also matches the apartments in Buxton and Pitkin, which is a majority of our student body anyway. So it brought all of those buildings on, we'll say, on par with each other. Admittedly, not very popular, but here we are and it's working, and it took a few reminders, but we're getting there. So what I asked, so that's a little bit of the backstory. I could talk about any of that if you'd like to. What I really wanted to bring to you today is more of a, I guess, an idea and potentially some conversation about how to norm student recycling behavior to make it like the thing people do, not just like the thing 20% of campus does and 80%, or I should say 20% does it well, 50% doesn't quite understand exactly what they're doing, and 30% just like doesn't want to play it all nicely in the sandbox. One strategy, or one thing I should say we have been noticing, and this isn't new this year, we've just been noticing a little bit more because of our facility provider, is that if a recycling bin outside is contaminated with trash, sometimes Waste Management, our provider, will, basically they just flag it as contaminated and they make us pay a fee for that bin. They basically consider it trash. They don't sort it, they don't go through it, they just throw it away. Obviously, this is not good for a number of reasons. And they're, I mean, another motivator for elevating our general recycling awareness. One thing we could do is make a policy violation or build in expectations in our handbook about what people do with their recycling. Or at minimum, make it an issue within our handbook if people contaminate recycling bin to the point that it needs to be discarded. Ultimately, that's real money for the institution, and it would take some shift of culture to do it. But that's one way to start shifting things, is to put teeth into it, because I'm not sure what the carrot is. Caring about the environment, general student well-being. I don't know if those things have been useful enough for us. So usually I would take new policy initiatives that are substantial in nature, and this is kind of on the edge of that, to SGA Student Advocacy Committee or Student Affairs Committee. It's been named different things over my 15 years. It's my understanding that there's some restructuring involved. So here I am talking to all of you. So, thoughts?
Okay, yeah, you guys can go ahead and ask any questions if you'd like. Just use raise your hand with the chat features and I will call on you.
Corey.
Will, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. I was going to ask, what are you guys planning to do with the trash closets now? Like, what are you going to turn them into?
It depends on the location, because some of them aren't really big enough to do much of anything with, which was ultimately one of our hindrances to trying to build in both recycling and trash, among other ones, including our contract with SSC in general. But aside from that, we have virtually no furniture storage available to us in Barker and Kresge. There's not really a storage area for us to have access to. And so in order to keep like extra dressers, desks, spare bed parts, ladders, rails, things of this nature, we're actually changing the locks maybe even this week on the ones in Barker, because they're large enough to do that for. The Kresge ones are a little bit more unknown. We have some ideas, but nothing's really sticking yet.
Corey?
So sorry. I saw you put my hand down and I clicked it at the same time and then I raised it again. My question is in regards to like inputting or like the teeth remark that you made, Luke, in reference to like we need to be more strict and implement these rules. If said recycling bins are becoming contaminated and like the school is getting fined, will there be repercussions or like will there be incentives to encourage students to recycle properly or discourage them from recycling improperly?
I'm not sure what the incentive would be. Like, I'm not sure how we can incentivize this either financially or otherwise, other than making it part of like the general expectation of things people care about and people do, like that they don't just toss, you know, an empty, the clearest example, no pun intended, is a plastic water bottle. Like it's already clean, just throw it in a recycling bin. But the, you know, the teeth, like I don't, despite my general reputation on campus, I don't like throwing teeth at a bunch of things. And so it's really, I don't know if that's the answer either, but it would be effective at getting people's attention. And maybe norming that. We're also investigating a number of other things. Like I'm working with SSC to see if Waste Management will allow us to place custom magnets on the front of every metal dumpster. They only work on the metal though. That's very much Simpson branded, Simpson Recycles. Pay attention to these things. We're working on that. We need their permission to do it though, because we don't own the dumpsters, but I don't think they'll care, but they care about weird stuff sometimes. So, so there's other things we're considering as well to raise awareness besides the additional signage we're putting all over the place. And I talked to the Sustainability Club as well about doing some passive programming on like what can be recycled, et cetera. But I don't know. I don't know how to incentivize it. I know how to get students' attention on what is painful, and that is not, that's not a great strategy either. And so this is why I came to student leadership about this too.
Jordan?
All right. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I have like a couple questions. So I very much appreciate like the idea of like raising more awareness for recycling. And I do think it is a problem with some students. I mean, as you said, like if 20% do it really well, that means 80% either don't do it as well or just ignore it like in general. But my one question though is for the Greek houses and then for the freshman dorms, like where's the correlation to removing the trash cans that everyone knows like is trash, that you don't throw recycling in that? What's the incentive of removing the trash can in those halls correlating to better results with recycling?
So I disagree with one of the points you made. I don't think people understood really that that's just trash. I think we saw recycling in there all the time. And so if you have to take everything out of the building, general consensus is you're going to be more mindful about what you're taking out. And if they're on even footing and one isn't significantly advantaged over the other, then that's the motivating factor. And that sentiment's been echoed by a number of people I've talked to. So that was one of the primary motivators behind this. We've talked for years about potentially building in different recycling units within buildings, but that presents many logistic issues, including I mentioned briefly that it's not built within SSC's contract with us. Many of our buildings don't have elevators, which is an issue with trash to begin with anyway. But and then also just like logistically where to do that in every one of our buildings because we don't have that capacity.
And then my follow-up is that I'm currently living in a Greek house, and one of the issues that we have been experiencing is that before when we would have like the big trash cans on each of the floors, we wouldn't have like our garbage like our dumpster outside our house like full. And since the implementation, our garbage dumpsters have been like overflowing to the point where just today, this Wednesday, one of the dumpsters in between SAE and Lambda are like, it's overflowing. And I don't know like the frequency for when waste management comes in that. So is there a possibility, or are you like for or against potentially like Greek houses to like get their own like trash cans, so that way we can still like take out the trash, but it's like less like turnover and like less bags in there, like the sheer amount of like trash. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
We got 14 inches of snow a few days ago. I think that probably influenced trash pickup, to be honest. I think there might be other factors at play, but when I think about this week specifically, that's a major one. And if we need to ratchet up frequency in a couple different locations as things change, occupancy, et cetera, can influence this. That's something that we can evaluate and modify with waste management. I think every time we've had student-led initiatives to do like recycling out of buildings or trash out of buildings, it's not gone well. In fact, at one point, we even funded a work study position for the recycling club at the time. That's what it was called, so that they could put recycling areas within Barker and Kresge. They would do a scheduled rotation. They would come through and they would empty them. And it just didn't happen. And it piled up and then it was a disaster. So that would be my concern in that. I know that that's come up a couple different ways and times, but I would just much rather have that responsibility not on students or me in managing that student-led initiative.
Okay, Will, before you go, I'm going to ask a couple questions before I forget them. How do we, or how do you, how would the violations work? Because how would you find out who contaminated what dumpster?
Yeah, a lot of things students throw away have their names on them.
Okay.
So we've noticed that in Barker and Kresge, we know who to follow up with the bag of trash sitting on the bathroom floor. So that's one way. The other way is, and we have cameras in quite a few places, but that's not gonna, we're not gonna sit there and watch cameras for people contaminating things. What's more likely is that someone happens to notice something. We apply the sanction a few different times, and a sanction, or it might not even be a fine. It might be a paper about recycling or plastic use in the United States or on campus, or it might be the projections of microplastics around us, or whatever the case may be. It might be something focused on educate. Honestly, we'd rather do that than just fining people. It might be paying the contamination fine, which I don't even know what it is. Off the top of my head, I think it varies by the size of the dumpster. But I think that just needs to happen a few times before people take it more seriously. Like a number of our policies, there needs to be a report of someone doing it. And I mean, if you see a student throwing a garbage bag worth of things, that's a pretty clear sign that they're contaminating it, because garbage bags shouldn't be thrown in recycling dumpsters, or recycling areas overall. So things like that. It would be like any policy violation. And honestly, especially with COVID, a number of the complaints that I get about student policy behavior are from other students, not from my CA staff, which a number of you on the call as well. Hello. But the general student body, I think, again, if this is normed as an expectation, the complaints I get, the complaints I've received, they're really upset from people who are seeing recycling dumpsters being picked up by garbage trucks, are from the general student body.
Okay. And then the second question, since you kind of said you wanted trash and recycling on an equal footing, is there the same amount of recycling bins as normal trash bins on campus?
In terms of like cubic foot per dumpster type of thing?
Like just the same number. Like I noticed like in Colonial, they're similar right by each other. Would that be a similar case for pretty much anywhere around campus?
I think by and large, yes. It varies a little bit in a couple areas. One's a Greek parking lot, because the fraternity parking lot, because there's not space to put both right next to each other. So we peppered them, staggered them. So that's one thing. The other area is different, is Barker, because it has a compactor for trash, but not for recycling. So the totes, and Barker's received a specific message with pictures referencing this week. Barker's garbage goes in totes because the custodial staff wheels them out to the compactor, and then they have access to that fenced-in area. By and large, though, equal, or on, I'd say, pretty much the same square footage or cubic footage.
Okay, so sounds good. Will, go ahead. It's 7:21, so Luke, we'll let you get back to your chaos for the night. So you will be the last question.
Awesome. So where did the trash cans that were in the first year in Greek houses go? So, like, are they sitting in storage somewhere? And then, like, what's the plan to use them going forward?
Yeah, I don't know. I know some of them ended up in, I think a few of them ended up in custodial closets, but I think largely they were taken back to the physical plant to repurpose for other things. So, like, we have events that require a large amount of trash containers, so they could be used for things like that. There's also some other considerations too, like summer conferences that are here and they don't have, or we usually don't give them a recycling bin or trash can. So we're going to have to think a little bit differently about like our very transient guests during the summer. So we'll work out those details though. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Luke, for coming and speaking with us. Do you have any questions for us, or you can?
No, I think what I'll do, I'll probably just connect with you and Jorge about like where we might go with policy development. And I know a number of you on this call have talked to me specifically about different ideas, and I might reach out to you as well. Again, I don't really want to throw a bunch of sanctions at people, but I do want people to take this seriously. Thank you for the time tonight.
Yeah, thank you. So have a great night. Thanks, Luke. Okay, we can get back to, we were on item number 4 in my report. So we will go ahead and swear in the sophomore class president, Frank. Frank, you're free to unmute yourself or keep yourself muted. It's up to you. So please raise your right hand if you're able and repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of sophomore class president of the Simpson College SGA
the office of sophomore class president of Simpson College SGA
and will do the best and will do the best of my ability,
and will do the best of my ability,
preserve and uphold
preserve and uphold
the Constitution and bylaws of the SGA,
the Constitution and bylaws of the SGA,
and represent the students of Simpson College.
and represent the students of Simpson College.
Congratulations to Frank. Next will be Wyatt and Dylan. You guys can go at the same time. You can unmute yourself or keep yourself muted. And repeat after me. Please raise your right hand if you are able. I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of sophomore class senator of the Simpson College
office.
SGA,
the office of, I already forgot,
sophomore class senator
sophomore class senator
of the Simpson College SGA,
of the Simpson College SGA,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve and uphold
preserve and uphold
the Constitution and bylaws of the SGA,
the Constitution and the bylaws of SGA,
and represent the students of Simpson College.
and represent students of Simpson College.
All right. Okay, congratulations to the both of you. That is the end of my report, so we can move on to student body president Jorge Castellan.
Hello there all. So congratulations again to our new senators and president. More committee, more clarification for the two of you guys that have some experience. You'll know your committees and more stuff. And to Dylan and Wyatt, you guys will be assigned to committees in which the specific committees will work further into more specific agendas. So yes, congratulations again. So the town hall, as you guys can see, there was an email that was sent to you guys all regarding the tuition increase and essentially the state of the campus. So I'd encourage you guys all to go, have any questions. Your parents are also invited. And then one thing that Chelsea and I were talking about was potentially you guys could send emails and next week we can talk. No. Or like we can condense our questions. That way, if parents come in and ask the same questions, we don't like essentially mention stuff that's already known, or like we can more efficiently come up with SGA led questions that would be more adequate representative of what like all of us kind of want to know, because I don't want someone to just ask a specific question and then waste time in the specific question of stuff that's already fairly known. So that was just a thought. Let's see. So like I said, the exec meetings and committee, now that we have a full exec board, we will fill out a doodle and move forward with when we can all meet with Rich. And yes, we have budget voting in new business. So yes, any questions?
All right, see no questions for Jorge.
There's a question in the chat. Check the chat real quick. Oh, no. You can, if you go in person, you can ask the questions as much as you want. I'm just saying if we want as an SGA to ask questions on on behalf of us as a unit.
In other words, ask some basic questions and more in-depth questions rather than the same person asking the same question in different wording over and over again, just to save some time.
Or questions that are like not beat around the bush, kind of questions of more direct, more concise, more. Yeah.
All right. So the senior class president, there will be budget voting and new business. So we will move on to junior class president, Tatum Claiborne. Go ahead, Tatum.
The next time that SOC meets, we are going to be finalizing which company we want to work with for the hats and t-shirts and everything for the campus leaders.
Any questions for Tatum? Seeing none, we will move on to first year class president, Will Keck.
Pretty much the same as Tatum's again. When SOC meets next, we're gonna look at the different apparel and as well as the masks we're ordering for the different organizations. So that'll be coming up.
Okay, and then it looks like we have in other reports an ACC DEI update. I think that's Tatum, so go ahead, Tatum.
So there was the vice president of enrollment management interviews this week. And so there was two candidates that were interviewed on Monday and Tuesday. They met with a bunch of different subcommittees. But I just wanted to tell you guys that the interviews happened. And I went to the first one and then I had to work the second day. So Piscazi went to it. But I don't know what I'm allowed to say what happened. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what happened at the interviews. I don't know, but they happened. Yes.
Okay. If you find out that you can share it just within SGA, we could always end the live stream too. Go ahead, Jorge.
Is it did you sign a paper in the beginning?
No, I'm just not sure. I don't want to say anything because I don't know who got the position. I don't want to say anything because I was a part of the interviews. So
I think we could wait just in case, because in case it jeopardizes the situation of someone, because I at least when I was on the academic dean committee, we don't want to compromise someone else's or whatever. But I think that should be the first thing we discuss next week for sure.
All right, I will ask. Oh, and then we have another ACC DEI meeting tomorrow at 4:30. That wasn't in there because I just remembered. Sorry, Lane, but yes, that's another thing that happened.
All right, any questions for Tatum? We are going to move back to the senior class president. Elliot says he has a report on his first day.
Yeah, I get right to it. Let me tell you. Nice to see you, everyone. I got reached out to by Julia Neer now. It's Neer Crady. Yeah, sorry. Who is the person in charge of dining. And we're starting up the food committee again. That wasn't a thing last semester. She said she wanted 7 people on it, ranging from freshman to senior. So if you'd like to be involved in that, you could definitely reach out to her. Alternatively, if you don't want to reach out to her, you could tell me and I could reach out to her. Up to you. But that was a thing, and I figured I should probably say something.
Okay, any questions for Elliot? All right, so that is the end of reports.
There's a question. There was a
Sorry.
question. Never mind.
Go ahead, Jorge.
We're good.
Okay. Item number 5, old business. We don't have any old business, so we move on to item number 6, budget requests. I am going to move this over to David as he is the most senior member. So go ahead and go into a little more detail about Math Club.
All right. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the actual budgets here. Both of the budgets that we met with about they went over pretty quickly just because the things that they were asking for weren't very entangled or too advanced. Yes, but with Math Club, they wanted to allocate about $3,100 for a competition they're in. And I think the $100 or so was just for certain fees that might accrue, but they weren't so prominent that we thought that they needed to have an actual place. But other than that, discuss about. Yeah.
Jorge.
Yeah, so we met with the math club, and like David said, it was just so they requested 1,500, and then we recommended $779 with 61 cents. Secondary to them having $720.39 left in their account. So yeah, may I have a second? Shoot, yeah,
Second.
yeah. Hey, it's all right, guys. It's a little rough, but we're doing great.
All right, so it has been motioned and seconded to approve the budget request for Math Club. So I will have everyone use the chat features, either the red X or the check mark, so we can vote on that. I'm only seeing 3 people with the check marks. Did you guys already respond? I'm so sorry. Please go back and do it again. Sorry, I have too many screens up. All right, motion passes. David, do you want to go into detail about the second one, or do you just want to have Jorge do it? It's up to you.
It'd be with my technical issues, it'd be a lot quicker if Jorge did it.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. This is a rough patch and first time for me as well. So Jorge, go ahead and go a little more bit into detail about the budget request for Pre-Health Society.
All right. So the second group that we met with was Pre-Health Society. Pre-Health Society is basically members of like pre-health, pre-nursing, pre-med, pre-dentistry, in which they go out into the community, do a bunch of events. And they requested $3,100 for shirts and crew necks. But we recommended $2,866 with 49 cents. Secondary to them having $133.51 left in their account, and a 100% reduction, $100 reduction, excuse me, in extra fees. So we did this because they don't need the money, so that's why we reduced it. And the 100 was just a buffer, and we don't allow for buffers, and that provides for the 100 shirts and 100 crew necks in which they plan to order. They don't have that many members; they have around 40. But since these shirts are dateless and like classless per se, they can be used for next year's class. And it's cheaper to order them all at once. So they went ahead and ordered 100 shirts and 100 crew necks. So yes. Any questions?
All right, seeing none, we will go ahead. Can I get a motion to vote on the recommended amount for Pre-Health Society?
So motioned.
Second.
Thank you, Will. All right. Sorry, Wyatt, I didn't explain this well enough. It is under the chat feature, and then you will use the green check mark or the X to vote no or yes.
Actually, Chase is under participants.
Participants, my bad. All right, so everyone please go ahead and vote for me. All right, it has passed. Thank you all. So we can go ahead and move on to item number 7, general discussion. The first thing we have is we got a couple comment box from the SGA comment box, so we can go ahead and go over those. Jorge, feel free to read those off.
Very good. Let me pull them up real quick. Yeah, these are pretty good. So one of the emails, one of the comment boxes stated, when are we going to see the one you designed for the new SGA logo? They expect a response. We already selected a logo, but we'll reach out to the specific individual that requested more information. I don't know if they're a participant or not, but we'll reach out. The next one, trash cans on all floors at Barker. Each room would have a specific day they would be responsible for taking trash out. It was a suggestion that was made by a first year as well, and they expect a response, maybe with some more information. And I think it would be valuable for us to not make it freshman heavy when we meet with Luke, but make it first year and maybe Greek. That way we can communicate kind of their interest in particular, because I'm not saying that other people shouldn't go, but it would defeat the purpose of discussing trash cans and it's much sustainability with people that say live in Buxton and are not used to that or whatever. I mean, we still want representation for all classes, but to do that. But that's moving forward with Luke. The next comment is, the parking lots are horrible. I know multiple people who have spent hours shoveling their cars out, trapping other cars. This is just ridiculous. They just wanted to let you know what we think. I think we didn't expect this much snow, and they're getting to it. So hopefully, moving forward, at least the sidewalks are cleaner, I guess.
They've also, I'm going to point out, they've also done a great job today getting as close to cars as they can to make it a little easier for everyone. And then when people leave, they're making sure to clean the empty parking spaces. So kudos to them today. Go ahead, Jorge.
The next comment. Hello, Rich. That was it. So they just wanted to, say hello, Rich. The next one. I think removing trash cans from buildings is a bad idea, especially as someone who lives on the 3rd floor of their building. Once again, Luke came in, kind of explained to us moving forward, policy. I mean, this is a bigger, it may seem smaller, but maybe it's a bigger issue in terms of sustainability and moving forward, as we have been trying to be as sustainable as possible with solar panels, the projects, and multiple things. So yes, that was the end of this week's comments. Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else for general discussion? See none, we'll move on to item number 8, announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? Jordan has an announcement.
I do.
Your normal.
Oh yeah. I'll do it. Yeah. Okay, guys. Second week here on campus. Good job so far with doing the COVID protocols. Remember, we're in a pandemic. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Keep 6 feet apart when you can. CDC guidelines. We don't want to be in the red zone. This is not football. We don't want to be in the red zone. So let's get to the yellow zone. I know we can do it. We've done it before. We can do it again. Yeah. And then just disinfect when you can and all of that and all that fun stuff. But yeah, just keep following the CDC guidelines. if you get picked for the random testing, do your best to prep to not do anything that will get you COVID. All right. Don't do anything that can get you COVID. So yeah, that's it. That's the usual announcement with a little more hype this year.
Thank you, Jordan. Go ahead, Corey.
My announcement is please be careful walking. It's a little icy still, and maintenance is doing the absolute best that they can. However, sometimes they miss some ice, and I know if you're not wearing snow boots, you're gonna fall on your bottoms. And I don't want to see any of y'all with broken tailbones. So please be careful. Also with driving, if you do plan on shoveling out your car and driving, I'm not from here. So driving in the winter, a little different for me. Hence, I don't do it. But for those of you who do, black ice, be careful. I've been told to pump the brakes. I think that's something you do. Just please be careful. It's cold and icy. And yeah, thanks.
Hadley, go ahead.
My announcement is that I like Corey's cat. Thank you very much.
Okay. Who is next? Hadley Sanders. Piscazi, go ahead.
I just want, me and Tatum are in the same room. I just want to make a very clear point to everyone that our guidelines on campus are still that if you are in Kent, you are supposed to be sitting by yourself. Period. A single person to a table. I barely go to Kent because I live on the opposite side of the campus and I can barely eat anything there. But every single time I go, there is a whole group of students sitting at a table, all without their masks on, half of them not eating. That doesn't even matter because there should only be one person at a table. And we're going to start barking at people if you don't do it.
Thanks, Piscazi. Jordan?
Okay, I just thought of this, and it doesn't have to do with my usual announcement, but I will say this is actually something fun. Now we have the live streams of basketball games and other sporting events, so check that out. I know I saw some people checking that out, because go basketball team, go sports, put the ball in the basket.
Thanks, Jordan. Sorry. Reading the chats. So does anyone else have anything for announcements? All right, seeing none, that brings us to item number 9, adjournment. We will meet next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. This meeting stands adjourned.